Shooter Hunt here with a coffee and curveball episode. This time heading down back to the boot, the state of Louisiana for the Louisiana State Games, sitting with Scouting Director Alex Armand. Alex, what's going on?
Oh, it's we got some cooler weather down here in the boot, so that's nice after a hot summer. But yeah, just finished up the state games last weekend, and it was a really good event.
Yeah, it looks stellar. They're at LSU for 2 days, home of the national champs. I know Coach Jay Johnson likes getting those guys on campus, especially in state. But looked like a stellar event from a distance. You guys do a great job at that. But right at the top, let's start off with a couple committed upperclassmen, namely left-handed pitcher Graydon Harris of 2024, who's a vertical approach darling.
Yep. Yeah, so Graydon, he's been a familiar name for a while. Always been a high-level pitchability guy. He was, really good in his 2 innings at the state games, punched out 4, gave up 1 jam job hit. He can command the fastball to both sides of the plate. The slider's gotten sharper and firmer. Changeup still there and really good. And, one thing to keep in mind with Graydon is, he's a guy that's going to graduate at 17. So, I think the ceiling is a lot higher.
Oh, that'll definitely have a lot of scouts on him with that birthday baby there. But we talk about all the Power 5 guys. You got LSU, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, all the schools right in the region. He's committed to Southern Miss, and I think sometimes people get surprised at the fact that these guys pop when they get on campus. I don't think you're ever going to be surprised when Graydon Harris gets there, potentially to Hattiesburg, and starts throwing 93, 95, and breaking off some really good sliders.
Yep, agreed, man.
And now I'm looking at another 2025 who was uncommitted at the PBR Future Games, where he was one of my big standouts, Noah Lewis, from that powerhouse program there at Catholic in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, so, Noah's just been on this steady incline from, I would say, the second half of the high school spring season for Catholic, where for the last month and a half of the season, he was hitting leadoff. And then into the summer, had a good future game showing, was the fastest guy there, ran a 6.35. And then this weekend at the state games, I feel like Noah looks so much more comfortable in the box. He's standing up a little taller. He's got good rhythm. He's got a little leg kick. So you can tell that he's tweaked a couple of things, and it's allowing his athleticism to just play. He hit an oppo double in game. So that's another guy with a really, really high ceiling.
We love those high ceilings and those guys that start to approach those. It's a lot of fun to watch. Really looking forward to following Noah Lewis, who will be in the spotlight there with Catholic High. Let's shoot over to a committed underclassman, a Tulane commit in the 2026 class from Holy Cross, heading to the Catholic League, Dominic Pellegrin.
Yeah, so Dom Pellegrin has actually been the starting shortstop at Holy Cross since his 8th grade year. And, that Catholic League, as you know, Shooter, is tough. It's a really good league year in and year out. And, Dom is a guy that I think would be one of your favorites. If you got to see him play in person, he just he's strictly business when he's on the field. He's a gamer. He's very confident, on defense, makes all the routine plays at the plate, super aggressive. If the ball's over the white, he's swinging and he doesn't miss. And he's gotten stronger since we saw him, a year ago at the state games. So really liked what he did.
Yeah, you love those Holy Cross kids seem to have that toughness, a little chip on their shoulder when they get to college campuses that helps them raise that level of play. But that's good for those committed guys. They're going to get their time to shine. But the ones who I think a lot of the coaches probably came out to that state games for and were following along on Twitter trying to find those guys are the uncommitted ones. Let's start with these upperclassmen. Head back to Catholic, that they're in BR, a right-hander. Shoot, do they not have enough pitching already at Catholic? Ryder Loop.
Yeah, Ryder Loop. I was telling Catholic High pitching coach after the event, actually, these guys just grow on trees there. You're right. So Ryder Loop is in line to be the number 2 behind William Schmidt. 5'11" righty, got up to 89, sat 86 to 88. Really good breaking ball. Near 12.6 shape. I think it spun anywhere from 25 to 2600, and he just attacked hitters. So he'll be getting a lot of buzz after the state games for sure.
Now, you have a note on here on this 2025 infielder that he's a good runner, but ran a 6.94 on a slower track. I swear Louisiana has the fastest kids in the country. Every time I go, I know what they're going to do. They're going to hit. They're going to run. But Rowan Birds are on.
Yeah, so, Roland Bergeron was a guy that I'd heard some stuff about. This is his first PBR event to attend. And from the moment he got there at check-in, I mean, you just noticed the 6'1", 190-pound frame, broad square shoulders, kind of that V-shaped body. His BP was arguably the most impressive on the day. Top exit velo, got up over 101 miles an hour, serious bat speed, and it showed in game where he actually hit a triple into the left center field gap. So a good-looking athlete out of South Louisiana.
Now, this was one of the swings that I liked from a distance. Left-handed hitter, you look down, Dutchtown High School, which is a perennial power there in the state of Louisiana, but a kid named Dylan Champagne, a left-handed hitting catcher.
Yep. So we first saw Dylan back in January, okay? 6'3", and probably at the time he weighed 150, 155 pounds. Moved well, received well behind the plate, good exchange. He shows up to state games, and, I mean, it's from the time you saw him, it's noticeable. He's gotten stronger, more physical. His BP, I mean, he was on the barrel nearly every swing, and it carried over in game. He had really, really good at bats. And like I mentioned, behind the plate, really good receiver, really good blocker. The arm strength has gotten better. He's, a 6'3" left-handed hitting catcher. He's definitely caught some eyes.
Those don't grow on trees either. That's definitely a lot of upside. We're excited to see what he's got this spring. Could be a breakout time for him. Let's check out a couple arms, though. Left-hander Adam Gillett, 2025. He's 6'3", 190. Wow, 86-90.
Yeah, I actually talked to one pro scout who was at the state games, and he said out of, all the 25 pitchers that were there, Gillett had, that prototypical pro body you look for, 6'3", 190. Longer arm path, but it's clean. He repeats his delivery well. He ended up punching out 5 in 2 innings. Fastball got up to 89. Spin rates, I want to say almost near 2,700 on the fastball. So some interesting metrics. He's another guy I can't wait to go see this spring at Natchitoches Central.
And another guy who can really backspin the fastball. We'll head to the parish there at Chalmette High School. Bryce Wilson, 2025.
Yeah, Bryce Wilson, I come to know every time Bryce Wilson goes out, he's going to compete. He's going to throw strikes to both sides of the plate, and he just wins. He just gets guys out. And he had probably arguably the best pitching performance out of anybody at the state games. 2 innings, no hits, 4 punch outs, no free passes. Bryce is going to make a college program very happy.
No free passes. That is a key word when you're talking to college coaches from these arms. So great stuff from the Chalmette High School product himself. Now, what about some uncommitted underclassmen? I know this was kind of the big uncommitted name in the state that there was some buzz around from Dunham High School. Logan Sorrell, big right-hander.
That's right, Logan. So we saw Logan a couple years ago at the Junior Future Games, and just a tall string being at the time. He's gotten more physical now, 6'3", 190. If you can believe this shooter, actually playing linebacker for Dunham High School right now.
Oh, wow.
So it tells you a little bit about the kid. And I mean, he came out and was just spectacular on Sunday, 87-90 with the fastball, landed the slider for strikes as well as swing and miss. He is a big-time arm talent coming out of that 26 class.
And still not using his lower half as much, which happens with young guys. And from October until February, there's usually a lot of strength that gets built up when you're in those growing years, going through puberty there. I could see him bumping up even higher next year and potentially being that Team Louisiana at the Future Games next summer. But what about 2026 right-hander, another guy up to 90 in the 26 class, Hayes Holton?
Yeah, Hayes was another guy I was excited to see coming into this, and he didn't disappoint. Like you said, got up to 90, spun a good slider, showed feel for the change. Athletic mover at 6'2", 175, with a quick arm. Still a little bit raw, which I think is a good thing. I think there's definitely a high ceiling with him. He's just going to get better and better, and he's already pretty good.
Yeah, we're looking for those athletic movers, especially at this time where they're just starting their sophomore year. He's growing into that 6'3" frame, getting comfortable with those movement patterns and where that hand placement's going to be. But when you see it moving like that, jumping out of the hand, it's easy to bet on, and the chance that March, April, as he goes innings get under his belt at the varsity level, that he continues to rise. Well, Armand, that's going to do it for us here. I'm pumped that the all-state games there in Louisiana were big. I'm going to have to get back down to them. Already planning a trip down this spring to see some of the talent down by you. But thanks for being on here on Coffee and Curveballs.
Yep, always fun. I appreciate it.